Thursday Schein time. All eyes on Tarik Skubal. Will anyone but the Dodgers land him? The Yankees continue to be a mess. At what point do I stop saying they're still the team to beat in the American League? Bills Mafia may be ready to put ownership through a table. Baker Mayfield not thrilled with ownership in Tampa. We're going to go camping around the NFL. Plus, when will the WNBA get out of its own way? You bet. I've got something to say about that.
If this was your last start as a Tiger, would that bum you out?
I don't even really want to speculate, to be honest. I try to live where I'm at right now, and right now I'm a Detroit Tiger. I don't really want to speculate a ton on what's happening or what the future holds because I don't know, So, yeah, I mean, I understand the questions. I understand, what could happen or what could change a week from now. But, I don't really like thinking like that.
Tarik Skubal doesn't want to focus on it, so I will. Skubal's getting traded by Monday at 6 Eastern. Our guy, ESPN star Jeff Passan, has reported it. But we all know it. So the question is, which team is going to land Skubal? Now, Passan says the Dodgers are the front runners. No surprise there. But what about the Brewers or the Rays or the Phillies or the Braves or the Yankees? Mystery teams, the Cubbies. Let's go through this here. I do feel compelled to start with this. I feel terrible for the Tigers fans because we've been killing Tarik Skubal for a while now in terms of the fact that he doesn't want to be there. And we can go through picks and predictions that I got right or wrong for the baseball season before the campaign started. One thing we nailed, and we were light years ahead of the curve on this. The Detroit Tigers were dead team walking because of the cloud, the omnipresent issue of Skubal and his contract and the fact that it wouldn't sign in Detroit. There was no shot Detroit could make the playoffs. We guaranteed that was going to be the case. So I feel terrible for the amazing Detroit sports fan, which has been through hell for all their teams. We could talk about history with the Detroit Lions. We could talk about what happened with the Pistons this past NBA season in the playoffs. And obviously the Tigers, they've been struggling and they've been scuffling. They think it's going to be their year since 1984, and it just hasn't been the case. And Skubal has been, since 2024, the best pitcher in Major League Baseball. And he pitched yesterday, and they pulled him after he was throwing a shutout in the middle of the seventh inning. And earlier in the game, he got career strikeout number 1,000, and the fans able to give him an ovation. And A.J. Hinch took him out to get that love and ovation in the middle of that seventh inning. They're up big, and they blew a 7-0 lead. The bullpen was a mess, and they lose to the Orioles in extra innings. Kind of fitting. And also, it's over. And Skubal deserves a lot of blame. He tries right there in that soundbite to make it like his hands are clean. There's blood on his hands and Scott Boras' hands. He could have signed the contract in Detroit. He has made it clear he's going to the team that pays him $1 more in the offseason. So it's over. I would give you an educated guess that Skubal is going to be traded sooner rather than later. Because if you're trading for someone and he's not going to sign now and he's going to eventually be the highest paid pitcher in baseball history, you want to maximize him if you're the team that's trading for him. I believe he's going to the Dodgers. And I think that baseball fans need to wrap their brain around this, that you're going to see Skubal joining Ohtani and Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman and Dave Roberts and company. I firmly believe that this is inevitable here when it's all said and done. Andrew Freeman, the lead baseball executive for the Dodgers, talked to the press yesterday, and honestly, I would just be stunned, absolutely floored, if Freeman didn't make a trade for Skubal. He has made trades at the deadline. The Dodgers have made trades at the deadline for the big fish before. We could talk about Max Scherzer. We could talk about Trey Turner. We could talk about Manny Machado. We could talk about numerous guys that Freeman has been able to acquire since he's been the lead executive. Yu Darvish is another one that he's been able to ultimately acquire. Plus, the Dodgers, it's all about winning. The season is a success if they win a championship. It's a failure if they don't. Also, there's need for Dave Roberts' club. I mean, Blake Snell is hurt, and Shohei Ohtani right now is not pitching, and Tyler Glass now is made of glass, and he can't pitch, and that's a problem. Now, every team in baseball can use someone like Tarik Skubal, but even for a rich team like the Dodgers, a team that's won back-to-back World Series, Skubal would be their ace, not Yamamoto, not Ohtani. It would be Skubal who would be pitching. Game 1, Game 7, inserts criteria here for whatever matters when you look at it for the Dodgers come playoff time. And again, it's only and always about winning a championship for the LA Dodgers. So they have prospects, they have young pitchers, they can give the Detroit Tigers a haul. I don't think there's any question about that. And also, you never want to be a team or an executive that goes out and makes trades to make sure that the other team doesn't get the player, because then you're overreacting. But if you're doing it because your criteria is to win a championship or bust, then you start talking about need. And if you make a deal, if you're the Dodgers, for Skubal, you keep him away from Milwaukee and Philadelphia. Listen, that is terrific and tremendous, and that's part of the equation. I don't give the Brewers or the Phillies a chance, as we speak, to beat the Dodgers in October. If the Brewers or the Phillies trade for Skubal, not that I would pick them, but now there's a chance. See, Pat Murphy's Brewer team is ridiculously talented, and every year they find a way to make the playoffs, and every year they lose in the playoffs. So that is how I'm going to frame and phrase the Brewers. Excellent regular season team, no shot in the playoffs until they prove me wrong. If they get Skubal, we're going to burn this tape from our Schein Time YouTube page. Because if they get Skubal at the end of the day, and you have Mizorowski and Skubal in a short series, of course they could win. If you're the Philadelphia Phillies, if you have Sanchez and you have Wheeler and you have Skubal in a rotation and you have Harper and you have Schwarber and company, and they can absolutely drive the baseball with authority, even with the Phillies scuffling right now, and they have been miserable, dreadful since the All-Star break. This would change the math and the equation here when you look at it for the Philadelphia Phillies. Now, Don Mattingly was not happy with Bryce Harper talking to the press and telling the press that the Philadelphia Phillies need to add, and they need a bat, and they need an arm. And listen, Mattingly could be sticking up for his owner, could be sticking up for his son, who's the actual general manager. He could be sticking up for Dave Dombrowski. I had no issue with Harper, zero, the fact that he was asking ownership to do something, because listen, he wants to win a championship. So I think that Skubal would change everything. When I talked to Derek Jeter on my SiriusXM radio show, he said that the team where the pendulum would swing the most, and I agree with him, in a Skubal deal, and let's take the Dodgers out of the equation because they are the favorites right now, and if they get Skubal, don't get Skubal, they'll still be the favorites. It's Philadelphia. If the Phillies get Tarik Skubal, they can absolutely win the World Series. I mean, that 1, 2, 3 would be murderer's row with Skubal and Sanchez and Wheeler in a short series, and it would just change the energy around Philadelphia. So I think that would be amazing. The fly in the ointment team is Tampa, okay? And I say this as a Yankee fan. I think the Yankees are going to win the AL East. 2.5 games out. I think the Yankees are going to win the American League. If the Rays, how they do it, how Kevin Cash, the manager, how they ultimately find ways to win, it's one of the most remarkable things I've seen in sports, right? The ballpark's a dump. I mean, whenever they blow up the Trop, I want to be the guy who pushes the red button. That place is awful. You know, Sed Mullins is batting in the middle of batting order. I don't know how they do it, but they keep doing it. If I were the Rays, I would trade for Skubal. They can never sign him long term. We might have baseball Armageddon anyway. The smaller budget teams that I think would make sense would be the Rays, obviously, and the American League stinks. Yankees have a lot of flaws, which we'll get to in a second. You know, if I'm the Rays, I would absolutely trade for Skubal without question. And, of course, the aforementioned Brewers, because, you know, this team has done it before. Different ownership, different era. When they traded for Sabathia, CC Sabathia, Hall of Famer, Yankee legend, you know, they got him from Cleveland, and he was lights out. He was majestic for the Brewers. Then, bam, he went to the Yankees via free agent. I also think there could be a couple of mystery teams and sleeper teams. Everyone wants Skubal. The two that I'll mention, and it's with a point and a purpose, right? Because you try and think about executives in baseball who have made their bones around being aggressive. And you start looking at teams that are in position right now. It's not an educated guess. Will they make the playoffs? They are playoff teams, but I don't consider them World Series teams. And again, we're operating under the blanket that Skubal is the best pitcher in baseball. We're talking about Atlanta and the Cubbies. The Chicago Cubs with Jed Hoyer, they are always aggressive. And I think PCA is unbelievable. He's my MVP right now in the National League, not Shohei Ohtani. I mean, watching PCA do his thing, hit that home run, his defense hit that home run in the scoreless game in extras last night. I don't view the Cubs as a World Series threat at all. At all. They get Skubal, they're in the mix for the World Series. The Atlanta Braves is with Alex Anthopoulos. I mean, this guy is super smart, super aggressive. Remember the year that they won the World Series when Acuna Jr. got hurt? He traded for 4 new outfielders and bam, had a whole new outfield. 3 guys and a DH basically going down the stretch of the season. They beat the Dodgers and then go out and win the World Series. So I would say don't eliminate teams like the Braves. Don't eliminate teams like the Chicago Cubs. But listen, it's going to be the Dodgers. And I want you to just wrap your brain around it. And I think it's great. I think the Dodgers are everything right with sports. I think the Dodgers are everything right with baseball. I want to root for a team where all they care about is winning a championship. They will do whatever it takes. The Dodgers can win the World Series in October for the 3rd straight year if they don't trade for Skubal. It'll obviously increase the likelihood and the chances and, let everyone catch their breath and take some of the ambiguity out of it if they make this trade, if they go for the jugular. Everyone's going to be pumped up. That's what separates the Dodgers from everyone else. It's not about payroll. It's not about money. It's about want. It's about developing prospects who a team like the Tigers would want and trade for in a Skubal deal. I think the Dodgers are a beautiful baseball machine. How about Edwin Diaz coming back? That's huge. You got a save yesterday. So now you start talking about the Dodgers, and Jeter stressed this to me when we spoke earlier this month. The Dodgers know how to play for October. They know how to get guys ready for October baseball. 162 games is a grind. Trying to three-peat is very difficult physically and mentally. You get Skubal, you have Edwin Diaz in the back end. Man, Timmy's going to be playing that trumpet deep into the month of October. I can't stress enough how I think I would celebrate this on Schein time. And I'm guessing it's going to be sooner than later. And I think Skubal's gone, 0% chance he stays in Detroit. And he's going to be traded. I agree with my guy Jeff Passan completely. And I think the Dodgers, that's the team, not only to beat in baseball, but the leader in the clubhouse when it comes to the summer of Skubal. The Yankees had another terrible loss last night, highlighted by another shameful play. Not by Anthony Volpe, but by the catcher, Ali Sanchez, whose gamble on a pickoff throw to third in extra innings did not pay off. Apparently, the boneheaded play, not an issue for Aaron Buffoon.
Would you have liked to have seen Sanchez hold the ball there instead of trying to throw the runner out?
You just got to have a good throw. It's playing catch. So we're big leaguers, and we're not going to not do things. Obviously an option's hold it. But, it comes down to, just playing. We got to play catch better there.
No, absolutely positively not. And this is the problem with Aaron Boone. He is completely lost, completely clueless. There is a moment in time where you have to look at the manager, and I keep saying this and I keep stressing this. And there is a problem with the Yankees when it comes to fundies, fundamentals. No team in baseball is worse. And that soundbite tells you everything you need to know. No, it's not about making a better throw, playing pitch and catch. There is no reason Sanchez should be making that throw. Ever. Risk reward in that spot. You're not going to pick the runner off of third base. But a bad throw run scores. What do you know? A bad throw. And there's the manager after the game defending the decision to throw to third base. Keep blowing those bubbles, Aaron Boone. Keep blowing the bubbles. I can't do this anymore. I can't do it. I'm watching Cam Schlittler throw an absolute gem, and that gets wasted. I'm not going to rip Paul Blackburn. Give him a couple home runs, consecutive pitches. He's been great for the Yankees this year. But you go to extra innings, and you know it's over because the Yankees are the worst when it comes to extra innings. The worst. And that's not me just talking and riffing and, oh, this team stinks and this team's the worst. No, the Yankees are literally, actually, the single worst team in baseball when it comes to extra innings. They're 1-7 in extra innings. I'm a Yankees fan. I can't remember the Yankees actually winning a game ever under Aaron Boone. I'm only exaggerating by a little in extra innings. I hate what Rob Manfred has done with extra innings with the dopey runner on second base, the ghost runner. But you win and lose now based upon fundamentals. And the Yankees are 1-7 in extras, the worst record in baseball in extra innings over the last 3 seasons. The worst. That's on the manager. That's the problem. So when you listen to Boone talk, I mean, and here's the deal, right? Schlittler was unbelievable. Cole the night before, unbelievable. Fried got hit, Yankees won. The Yankees right now are so paper thin. They have 3 amazing pitchers, right? Ben Rice can rake. I like Jazz more than most. The bullpen has actually been pretty good, especially recently. Bednar couldn't pitch last night because Anthony Volpe dropped that pop-up, so he had to come in on Monday night in the 9th inning. But I digress. I don't want to see Volpe's face anymore. It's not even a Volpe topic. And here I am ripping Volpe. Lombard should play shortstop. Volpe makes me sick. The Yankees' fundamentals, it all starts with the manager. And for him to say after that game that it was an error in terms of got to make a better throw, that's a mental mistake. That's a mental faux pas. That's an issue. Now, Yankees at the deadline, I mean, give me Mason Miller, please. We don't know when Aaron Judge is coming back. We don't know when Giancarlo Stanton's coming back. Or sounds like Bellinger will be back at the end of August, maybe around Labor Day. Mason Miller from the Padres is going to cost a pretty penny. Do it. Prospects, players. Mason Miller is having a Dennis Eckersley, Mariano Rivera season. You don't have to worry about him going from, the A's to the Padres, smaller pressurized teams to the Yankees. Mason Miller's stuff is sensational. He would change the equation and the math. If you had Bednar and Miller in the 8th, 9th inning for the Yankees, they could start winning some of they's close games. They got no offense right now, no manager, no fundamentals. The catching position is awful. I do love what our guy John Heyman from the New York Post was reporting with the Yankees checking in on Adley Rutschman with the Orioles. That would be terrific. That would be great. I'm a little skeptical if the Yankees are going to be able to swing a deal for a catcher. They need a right-handed bat. No question about that. I don't want to see Volpe's face again. Get me Madison Miller pitching at the back end of the game for the Yankees. I mean, he is special. He's superb. That pissed me off last night. I mean, the Yankees can't buy wins when it comes to extra innings. There's a common theme and denominator. I mean, it's a gift, right? You get this ghost runner. It's all about the manager. The Yankees being the worst in extra frame, it's all about Aaron Boone. Coming up, we've got some trouble brewing in Western New York, folks. Bills Mafia already up in arms about the new uniforms the team unveiled. And now the franchise is trying to restrict how Bills fans can tailgate. This is unbelievable. Speaking of disgruntled, did you hear what Baker Mayfield had to say today? We're going camping around the NFL next. Bills fans should be excited. New head coach, brand new stadium. Still have my guy Josh Allen, my opinion best quarterback in the NFL. Hope and happiness should be overflowing in Buffalo. Then, the fans got eyes on the Bills' new alternate uniforms. The backlash has been widespread, to say the least. My guy Josh Allen just wants everyone to take a breath.
And stop hating on the jerseys, guys. I don't know if you guys are hating. I don't know. I don't see anything, but they're great. I honestly like. Speaking of new, right? It's a new look. It is. I understand that, but we gotta be new, and I think these jerseys kind of are symbolic of that. And I'm excited to wear them. We had a lot of people that put in a lot of hard work for these jerseys, and it symbolizes a lot of newness, and that I am excited about.
Do you like it better than last year's all white? I thought it was pretty good.
We didn't win in the all white, so absolutely.
There it is. That's my guy, Josh Allen, right there. Josh Allen's right. I just hate when people are just mad online for no apparent reason. Those new jerseys are crisp. They're clean. I mean, who could hate on this? I love the gray. I love the blue. I love the helmets. And Josh is right. They didn't win in the other uniforms. My son, Theo, he is obsessed with the Bills, his favorite NFL team. Favorite player is Josh Allen. I can't wait to get Theo Schein a Josh Allen jersey with the new jerseys. Simple as that. I'm not even going to let him wear the old jerseys anymore. Something new, something different. That is crisp and fresh. I mean, I don't know. What did you want for the new uniforms? I mean, those are absolutely immaculate unis. They're gorgeous. They stand out. They're different. Also, new stadium, new head coach, new direction. Bills have never won a championship. What's not to love? Now, unis are one thing. Fans can agree, disagree on a team's look. That's fine. I mean, they're going to wear it twice this season. And at the end of the day, they win, everyone's happy and love the uniforms. If they lose, we'll probably never see them again. But messing with the Bills Mafia tailgate? Nah. Okay. Now we're getting to the sacrilege territory. Let's take a look at some of the rules being implemented for tailgating at the new Highmark Stadium this season. So, no noise-making items, okay? No megaphones or air horns. Food is for consumption by friends and family only. All right. Tailgating cut off at kickoff. No inappropriate displays of affection. Wait, what? Was that a problem at the old stadium? No taunting opposing fans. One space per vehicle. All right. Couple of things here. Because again, everyone wants to get mad online. I'm going to defend the Bills for this. And no one lives for the Bills and Bills Mafia. Bills Mafia loves me. I love Bills Mafia. My son's part of Bills Mafia. He's a big Bills fan, diehard Bills fan. All right. They're not going to let you bring a megaphone into the stadium. You'll be fine, right? You know, you can't, give your significant other a kiss during the game. I mean, I no affection. I mean, I didn't know this was an omnipresent problem. I mean, is this guy making out? I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Now, the tailgating thing, I get, right? Because that's part of the deal. Even in the new Bill Stadium, you have a broken table, which was pretty smart and pretty creative. I mean, and this whole scene is part of the whole experience in lovely Western New York. So I get it. This is what I'm talking about. Only in Buffalo do you have this in the new stadium. I mean, it made me laugh. I mean, it's about as great as it gets. Now, you can't propose to your significant other at the stadium. That's out now. You can no longer propose in any way, shape, or form. So that's it. So bad news. If you were planning on proposing at the new stadium for the Buffalo Bills, can't do it anymore. But again, this goes back to, for me, the whole mad online situation. If you have to go to Niagara Falls or your favorite wing joint and propose instead, you'll be fine. I mean, just go to a Sabres game. I don't know what to tell you. Just everyone's getting cranky. Let me tell you what this is all about. Winning. And I'm cool with that, right? Bills fans are unhappy. Look at this gorgeous new stadium. I mean, this thing is beautiful, breathtaking. I'll give you a quick example. Compare and contrast this thing to the nondescript MetLife Stadium, which is the most sterile stadium I've ever seen in my life. I mean, MetLife Stadium has no personality, no zip. What we're seeing here with the Bills' new stadium is unbelievable. I can't wait for that thing to rock and Josh Allen is throwing bombs, and Bradley Chubb sacking the quarterback, and Bradley Chubb's going to be amazing this year, and DJ Moore catching passes from Josh Allen, and Josh Allen is everything. And it's all there for him. He's got a new head coach, Sean McDermott's part of the, what's out. You can't propose anymore. You can't, at the end of the day, have tailgating past noon, new uniforms, and no Sean McDermott, which is good because he ruined everything with bad coaching when it mattered the most. So Josh Allen's going to be MVP again. Joe Brady is his offensive coordinator. He gets elevated to the head coaching position, and the Bills are loaded. So they're doing all the right things. I can appreciate fan angst, right? Especially in Buffalo, because the AFC is loaded. The margin for error is slim. You lose 7 games in the AFC, you might not make the playoffs. You might need to hit 11. That's what we're talking about here when we go through 11 or 12 teams in the conference that internally or their fan bases all believe they are going to win at least one playoff game this year. You go through all those AFC teams. We did all the AFC previews for you. They're all up on Schein Time on our YouTube page. All these AFC teams are feeling like this is their year. But for the Bills, it's really their year. This is going to be a special, special season. First time in a new stadium, new head coach, Bradley Chubb. I mean, they couldn't stop him last year when he was playing for the Dolphins. They needed some extra defense. Helps the pass rush. DJ Moore, think about all those clutch catches he had for Caleb Williams last year. I mean, DJ Moore, right guy, right time. I absolutely love that trade, not to mention Dalton Kincaid going to another level, and James Cook is unbelievable, and the offensive line is strong. It's all there for the Buffalo Bills. And trust me, when you win a Super Bowl, everyone's going to tailgate, everyone's going to propose, everyone's going to be wearing the new uniforms, everyone's going to be jumping through a table. You can get mad online now. Winning is the ultimate deodorant for everything. And trust me, this is going to be a magical season for the Buffalo Bills. Bills fans are not the only ones feeling a bit perturbed today. I give you Baker Mayfield.
I wanted the deal done and set the deadline and told them it was going to be all ball after that, and I did mean that. And I don't know if they thought I was just going to take some of the offers that they gave. Disappointing in that regard to not have, to feel disrespected a little bit. And that's really the disappointing part, to feel undervalued after, thinking you've earned it.
I respect honesty from any pro athlete who says what's on his mind and doesn't sugarcoat. And I respect Baker Mayfield for saying what he said right there. Disrespected, undervalued. Those are the money words. And that's a huge deal. And Baker Mayfield has already stated, and stressed it again talking to the press today, he's not negotiating a contract during the season. Now, there is an element here, which I do feel compelled to stress for honesty and accuracy. A chippy Baker is usually the best Baker, right? Think about college, pros, Cleveland, Tampa, after he was cut by Carolina, whatever it is. You usually get, whenever there's a chippy Baker, you get the best. Think about that one, cup of coffee you had with the Rams when they signed them on game day, in essence, on that Thursday night. Chippy Baker is the best Baker. But something's off here for the Buccaneers. And that division, obviously, you can poke holes in the Saints and the Panthers and the Bucs and the Atlanta Falcons, their quarterback position. Mike Evans is no longer there, and they wanted him back, and he didn't re-sign. Levante David, their star linebacker, Super Bowl winner, glue of that defense, he retired. Vita Vea wants to be traded. Baker said today that he hopes that Vita Vea gets the bag. I don't think that the Bucs are going to trade him at the end of the day, but they have to pay him. And this is not good. Todd Bowles has not done a good job over the last couple of years. The offensive staff is not what it was in Tampa Bay. Baker aired it out. Not long passes to Emeka Egbuka, but his dirty laundry. Disrespected and undervalued. When you have this kind of contractual situations, this kind of drama and nonsense and storylines in July, does not help you during the course of the season. Ask a Cowboy fan. when you have every single day more issues and nonsense and garbage, and these are the topics and the word choice for discussion. It's not about playoffs or taking the next step or chemistry with the offensive line. It's about feeling disrespected and undervalued. And Baker said today, he was unhappy that it was a 2-year deal that was offered. Man, what a disconnect. What a mess. It is impossible to believe in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for this upcoming season. Looking for a quarterback in good spirits? How about Caleb Williams? Chatting with our good friend Kay Adams.
It's going to be really exciting. It's going to be really fun to watch. It's going to be more entertaining than last year. Hopefully not as much as of a heart race, but it's going to be a little bit more entertaining throughout the whole game, and what we're going to bring to the table.
Even more entertaining from Caleb Williams? Yeah, I love it. I am obsessed with what he said. He also talked to our friend Kay Adams about how he lost 10 to 15 pounds, which I think is great. He also said, last year was fun. They had those 6 games where they were trailing in the final 2 minutes in the fourth quarter, and they won. He wants to be ahead, right? Obviously, give Caleb credit for those aforementioned games where he's able to, ultimately get a victory out of the jaws of defeats. But Caleb Williams, to me, there's a whole nother level for greatness. Ben Johnson, second year they're working together, head coach, play caller, and Caleb. Caleb's in his 3rd year. I'm obsessed with Colston Loveland. They're incredible young tight end. He's going to have a monster second season. Luther Burn is a terrific young wide receiver. I still believe in Rome Odunze. I know that he hasn't lived up to where he was drafted. Rome wasn't built in a day. Year 3, I think a healthy Odunze is absolutely going to explode. I am floored, absolutely stunned, that Vegas has the Chicago Bears as the 3rd-ranked team in the NFC North. They have it in order: the Detroit Lions, the Green Bay Packers, the Chicago Bears, and the Minnesota Vikings. This is insane to me. The Bears at plus 305, that is amateur hour. Absolute amateur hour. I am banging the Bears at plus 305. I think that if I'm ranking the division right now, it's Bears clearly number 1. If Kyler Murray is starting for the Vikings, they're number 2. Detroit number 3. And the Packers are not going to have Micah Parsons for the first 6 weeks. They would be number 4. Bears won the division last year. Caleb Williams only getting better. I think Caleb Williams, and I had him in my top 10 for quarterbacks for 2026. We made our list a couple of weeks ago here on Schein Time. I think Caleb Williams will be top 5 for NFL MVP this year, and I wouldn't bat an eye if he won the award. Forget about the division. I think the Chicago Bears are going to win a couple of playoff games, and they will be in the conversation for the Super Bowl in the NFC this year. We go from quarterbacks to wide receivers. We're going to go with the good, the bad, and the ugly here. First up, Malik Neighbors, where he is practicing at Giants camp, and Jackson Dart is happy.
Well, he definitely has a presence about him. There's an aura that he has on the field that is exhilarating, makes me happy, makes everybody happy just to see him out there.
Neighbors participated in Giants practice doing individual drills. And I actually like the way Joe Schein, the general manager, and John Harbaugh talked to the press about this after practice yesterday, where they weren't going to sit here and declare that Neighbors is back. They weren't going to sit here and say, we guarantee he's going to be there for week number 1. They are taking it day by day, which is the right thing to do. Malik Neighbors is going to be a superstar. Malik Neighbors is going to take Jackson Dart to a different level, not the other way around. Neighbors, and I'm a big Jackson Dart fan and big Jackson Dart supporter, believer, loved him when the Giants drafted him a couple of years ago. I think he has everything, and Harbaugh and Matt Nagy are going to take him to a different level. A healthy Malik Neighbors changes the math. Changes the math for Darts. And if you have Neighbors and you have Austin and you ultimately have Darnell Mooney and you have Malachi Fields and you still have Slayton, that's a really good group of receivers. Isaiah Likely now at the tight end position. But it has to start with Neighbors. Because if you look at the Giants' schedule, and this is important to me, I think the first 2 games they're playing are impossible, right? Dallas and the Rams, I think those are the 2 best teams in the NFC going into training camp. But look at the next 4. Stay with me on this. Tennessee, Arizona, Washington, New Orleans. I expect Malik Neighbors to play in those games. I demand the Giants win those games. We need to start raising the bar on expectations for the Giants. I think the Giants' coaching is going to be superb under Harbaugh. Malik Neighbors is everything. By the way, if he's 100% healthy and ready, they can beat the Dallas Cowboys at home to start the season on Sunday Night Football. But I am expecting Malik Neighbors to take Jackson Dart to a different level. I'm expecting the Giants to win 8 to 10 games and be a force and a factor this year, seriously, and bare bones minimum with Malik Neighbors for most of it. 4-2 start for the New York Football Giants. Malik Neighbors is everything. And even when he's practicing in individual drills coming off that torn ACL, even with no guarantees from Harbaugh and Schein on week number 1, that was inspiring stuff from Malik Neighbors yesterday. Stick with wide receivers. Now we go to the bad. Marvin Harrison Jr. struggling, holding on to the football. Look, if you're a Cardinals fan, if you're a fan of Marvin Harrison Sr., if you're a fantasy football player, you have to be concerned. And I genuinely loved Marvin Harrison Jr. in the draft a couple of years ago. I thought he was automatic. I thought he was going to be superb and sensational. I thought it was the easiest pick the Cardinals could make. Talked to Monty Austinforth, their general manager, after they made the pick. Talked to him this past year after the NFL draft on my SiriusXM radio show. Everyone still has monster high hopes for Marv. This is dreadful, right? You never want to sit here and go nuts on training camp, but look, Marvin Harrison Jr. has not been healthy. He's not been effective. The most important weapon on offense for this football team has been Trey McBride at tight ends. Then you take a look at the rest of the depth and talent that they have at receiver with Wilson and company. Then you look at getting Jeremiah Love at the running back position. He can run it. He can catch it. He is outstanding. This is a disastrous start. Marvin Harrison Jr. should only be going viral in training camp because he's making jaw-dropping plays. I expect him to have a monster year. On the heels of being awful, irrelevant, and injured, not available. First 2 years in the NFL, this is not what you need if you're Coach LaFleur. If you're Mike LaFleur, first time being a head coach, I still hold out hope for Harrison. This is under the umbrella of not what you want. Now to what some might call the ugly. Jamar Chase found himself at the center of a scuffle yesterday at Bengals camp. You see it right here. This looks like the Schein Time production meeting. Everyone giving their opinions. I love it. And I love this fight. I love this. I can't get enough. I mean, and people ripping the Bengals for this, you know what? There are expectations in Cincinnati. I can't. Jamar Chase is involved, Reader's involved, other players are involved. I think this is awesome. You know what I would not like in Cincinnati? Normalcy. A nondescript July or August. There is a sense of urgency for the Cincinnati Bengals, and there should be. In terms of where I stand with Cincinnati, I think the Bengals are winning the division. I think they're a real Super Bowl contender. I would rank it in the AFC going into the month of August. Buffalo, Cincinnati. I love what they did on defense. The additions they made were off the charts. I think Dexter Lawrence was a terrific, terrific acquisition. I still can't believe that they did that. I mean, you take a look at the rookies that they were able to draft, even without having that first-round pick because of the Dexter Lawrence deal. I mean, getting, Cook, getting Mafe, getting guys from Kansas City and Seattle with championship experience. I'm obsessed. I can't get enough. I love every single second of this. And you know what? If you're going to get heated and fired up and feisty, it beats the alternative of just going through the motions and being nonchalant. I love this. I don't want Jamar Chase getting hurt, But I love this. By the way, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Joe Burrow, going to have a monster season. The WNBA is having a tough time with PRs. The commissioner on the verge of being fired. The latest example of how this league can't seem to stay out of its own way. Next on Schein Time. Take a look at this video. You tell me why the WNBA, which posted it to their account yesterday, then decided to delete it.
At All-Star Weekend, you and Angel made a bet with each other on this game. Is that bet still?
This is how the rich stay rich. You gotta save this money. I'm gonna see you next week on Wednesday.
Yeah.
At night?
No, at practice.
Oh, at practice? I mean, I know y'all gonna lose, but if y'all lose, I get to have that. If y'all win, you get 400. And if we lose, then you get. No, you owe me 400. Bet I'm staying on it.
You just watched two of the biggest stars and names in the WNBA openly discussing wagering on a game between the two of them. Now, you might not have an issue with a couple of athletes putting some bucks on the line before they face off, but the league they play in and seeing that video, which shows a clear violation of league policy, then posted it on their own social media pages before ultimately deciding to delete it is something to behold. By the way, in theory, what you just witnessed, that's a multi-year suspension. If two NFL players did that, they would be suspended for multiple years. Not multiple games, years. Years. Kathy Engelbert needs to be fired. She needs to be removed as the WNBA commissioner. The WNBA, if you watch it, is fantastic. The games are great. The teams are great. The players are great. The nonsense and discourse around it is absolutely the theater of the absurd. When I turn on a game and Ryan Ruocco is doing the play-by-play, and Rebecca Lobo is doing the color commentary, and Caitlin Clark is nailing threes, and Asia Wilson is doing things that are just absolutely off the charts amazing, and you're watching so many teams that can compete for a championship and for the playoffs, and you have WNBA expansion in different cities, and it's phenomenal. And no one can have a normal conversation anymore about the WNBA because of garbage and nonsense and publicity. I mean, you had Kathy Engelbert canceling an interview with Dan Patrick. It's insane. After she agreed to doing it because PR flackies and lackeys said, man, maybe this isn't a good idea. You don't do that and then waste someone's time, especially someone with the pedigree of Dan Patrick. I mean, what are we doing here? Why is there always something that has nothing to do with, the sports, the games? This is the problem with the WNBA. They just can't get out of their own way. Drives me nuts. It drives me crazy. When it comes to sports, when it comes to women's sports, the WNBA should be at the top of the list always. They just can't help themselves. And honestly, the commissioner has to go. And I've thought this for a very long time. We had that incredible interview on Schein Time. If you missed it, check it out on our YouTube page at Schein Time with Nancy Lieberman. She was fantastic on this. Kathy's got to go. I mean, you can't even start talking about anything else and this, that, and the other. This league needs a restart in the court of public opinion. And it starts with new leadership. Simple as that. That's the show. If you missed any portion of the show, just do what I do and rewatch the show over and over and over again. Go to our brand new YouTube page. It is unbelievable. At Schein Time. Right now, stop what you're doing and make sure you subscribe. You could like and subscribe, but subscribe and like and do everything. And I read the comments, all the comments. We're going to start responding to the comments. And by the way, happy National Intern Day. Our intern Tessa is unbelievable. Greatest intern. Our intern's better than yours. So take that. Like, subscribe at Schein Time. My goodness, the WM.